Welcome everyone. My name is DianaGiannone and I'm from the Politecnico of Milan in Italy. I'm going to present to you a work made with Professor Carlo Vezzoli, and it is a set of life cycle design guidelines to operatively support fashion companies to design low environmental impact clothes. The fashion industry nowadays is one of the industrial systems that contributes the most for global growth and development. But at the same time, we have to admit that industry has a very high environmental impact that increases year by year due to the industry's continuing growth. Most of the companies unfortunately design without thinking always about the consequences of the clothing care life cycle. On the other hand, the demand for clothes are every day higher. Consumers aren't getting enough to own useful products because they are driven by trend, which follow fast marketing, and therefore each product is often used just half long as their real life. As a result, both companies and consumers contribute during the clothes life cycle to an everyday higher harmful environmental impact. The main goal of this project is to inform companies and designers regarding the importance of sensibilities and furthermore to give them an instrument to contribute to have less polluting world through the realization of a handbook and digital tool of life cycle design clothing care, both guidelines and checklists. The life cycle design guidelines for environmental sustainability clothing care system has been developed with the following process, adopted since many years of consultancies in many companies and organizations by Lens Lab of Politecnico di Milano. So, first of all, a desk research of the fashion system and its environmental impacts and sustainable best practice analysis has been done. Then we have the identification of the environmental priorities. After a workshop for the process of definition of specific guidelines following the general life cycle design strategies has been done. And finally, tool development has been realized both, as I said before, as a handbook and a digital tool. So the environmental analysis has been necessary to define the clothing care environmental impact and to discover and analyze the best practices. At the beginning, the system boundaries has been defined based on the product life cycle phases. So taking under analysis the clothing care system, the product life cycle phases are the following. So the pre-production, production, distribution, use and disposal. Then, as the satisfaction unit, or we can also call it a functional unit, has been designed the use of a garment for 1 year. So each phases of the clothing care life cycle have been deeply analyzed through desk researches. We can affirm that considering the impacts of clothing care on human health, ecosystem diversity and resource availability, the phases that impact the most are the pre-production and production and the use phase. Taking into account just the two phases with the highest environmental impact, we can assume that the high carbon footprint level during the pre-production and the production phases is given by the fabric production. In addition, it is also shown that natural fibers impact more on the environment compared to synthetic fibers. But considering the natural fibers impact more than synthetic one, analyzing the toxicity, we can observe that the situation changes, because in this case, comparing different fibers during pre-production, synthetic fibers such as acrylic has the highest impact. So from an accurate analysis regarding the use phase, on the other hand, we can assume that strong environmental impacts are caused by the consumers during the use phase. So the maintenance activity that affects the environmental the most is the cleaning. The cleaning includes washing and the use of detergents. Washing and drying clothing alone are estimated to account for 120 million tons of CO2. So consumers most of the time wash their garment too often at high temperatures. They use too much detergent without the correct dose. For sure, customers need to be informed about the consequences of their action and need to be encouraged to do the right choices concerning the maintenance routine, but at the same time it is essential that companies start to design also thinking about the use phase in order to reduce the high environmental impact of this phase. So various case studies of sustainable best practice examples related to the fashion system has been studied with the objective to learn from the cases the most excellent solution and to use them as an incentive during the generation of ideas for the workshop. So, for example, companies as Timberland, Rumi X, Tradesmith are really important and useful case studies to take into account. Then, thanks to the analysis, the design guidelines priority were individuated, and for every single design strategies it was defined a priority indicator. So based on the potential environmental development, we have high priority, medium priority and low priority. So the design strategy with high priority are the resource conservation, the toxicity reduction and the use extension intensification. Regarding the design strategy with a medium priority, we have the energy consumption reduction and the material consumption reduction. And finally, regarding the design strategy with a low priority, we have the material life extension. So all the previous results were the solid basis for the definition of specific life cycle clothing care guidelines. Through Lens Lab of Politecnico di Milano platform, the product lifecycle design X qualitative toolkit has been used to organize the workshop. The qualitative tool orientates the design process thanks to the eco ideas, which are tables with guidelines, with a set of general design guidelines divided per priority. So thanks to this workshop, the final life cycle design guidelines has been written and organized in both a handbook and a digital tool. The handbook is composed with a short introduction on the clothing system and is followed by the environmental impact caused by products, how to evaluate it, and life cycle design method. The main part is composed by the 6 main guideline priority that are the use extension intensification, the material consumption reduction, energy consumption reduction, material life extension, toxicity reduction, and resources conservation biocompatibility. So each main guideline is composed by several specific guidelines supported by graphics and tables. Finally, for each guideline has been prepared a specific checklist to help the users to verify if the given guidelines have been totally or not followed. Through the use of the life cycle design guidelines and checklist tool, It is possible by integrating the suggestions guidelines to the company's procedure to design new products avoiding high environmental impact. Thanks to the availability of this project as a handbook and a digital tool, future designers and companies can be supported and orientated to an environmental sustainable design of clothing for fashion. Thank you for the attention.